name's Lance and welcome to Bundy Bears Shed. Well, what have we been up to? Well, quite a bit. Been very busy. Busy with work, doing stuff, and also we were getting the John Deere 420 ready to go away to a show. And we've been to the show, we've come back again, and oh, it was a great weekend. Yeah, we caught up with friends out there. The show was at Kangaroo. The Kangaroo District Vintage Machinery Club have a show around third week in September every year, I believe. And we often go and we have great fun. There's friends that we have out there that we only see there, and so we go and catch up and have 10 or 20 quiet beers and try and behave ourselves a little bit. And it doesn't take much to get led astray at those dudes. You sit around the fire. We only took the ute. I'll show you a picture shortly. I've still got the tractor in Bundy Bears Shed, and when we come home yesterday I looked at unloading it and I thought, oh, up that. And so it's still in the shed, in Bundy Bears Shed. The trailer's on the back of the ute, the tractor's still on the trailer, and I was just having a look at it before, and I'll probably just unhook the trailer and leave the tractor on it. If we don't need the trailer until our next run where we go and have a bit of a play with the tractor, that'll be fine. But I haven't been in the shed here doing any machining. I have been purchasing a few knickknacks, as you do, you know, you've got to do that. And I've made a couple of changes to Bundy Bears Shed too. And look, some of the changes are obvious, like we've put a little whiteboard here, and at the moment that's just sitting there. And I find sometimes if I'm doing a little video on something, you try and explain something, but a little picture might help. And just with how bearings work on tractors and things like that, mainly for the tractor stuff. And I've had an old laptop at work, and laptops, if we get 3 years out of a laptop at work, we're patting ourselves on the back for looking after it. And in the past, we've had Toshibas, and Toshibas are just absolute ripper, ball tearing bloody laptop. And the tyre fitters, originally I bought an Asus laptop, well, 18 months and it was in the bin. And anyway, the fellow that did the farm-to-farm tyre service had Toshibas, and he said, look, these things have got a chassis and they really take a beating. So we've only had Toshibas until I went to buy a couple. I usually buy a couple at a time, 2 or 3 at a time, and try and keep everything similar in the business so you can jump onto one computer or another. And anyway, I went shopping to buy a computer. We needed one in a hurry and couldn't get the Toshibas that I normally get, but they had HP. So we got a HP here, and they're HP Envy. They're the cheap end, but I needed one in a hurry. Well, mine, the sound card went, then something, I can't remember what it was, so I chucked it to the shit house. And this is the one the missus had, Judy had, and it was starting to slow up and bug around too, so I've taken it and cleaned it up, and for up in the shed here it's fine. In the shed here I don't have Wi-Fi. The shed, Bundy Bears Shed's about 200 metres from the house, and we have Wi-Fi set up at the house and in the pool room and all that sort of thing. You know, you can get an extension, but it's just too far to get Wi-Fi back up in Bundy Bears Shed here. So what we do, I just set up a personal hotspot on the phone here, and I've got plenty of data to play with there. Well, I think I've got 12 gig, and if you're not sitting up here looking at YouTube clips, that goes all right. But so yeah, I've bought a laptop down here, and I like being up the shed here, so I've decided to teach myself a little bit of CAD drawing if I can. And I'm a novice at it. I'm a real novice at it, but anyway, I've been puddling along and yeah, just doing a few diagrams. I've been using Draft Site, but if there's a better one out there, a nice and easy one, on Shape I've had a play with. Yeah, probably nothing wrong with that either, but I think on all of them it's just the operator that's the weak link at this stage anyway. But anyway, so we're just setting it up a little bit better. This with the whiteboard, the laptop, the phone. I've always had the phone here and used it when I wanted to look something up. I wasn't sure of feed speeds or something like that. And in my phone, I've got a lot of apps for that sort of stuff. So anyway, we can use the laptop and keep notes and all that sort of thing. But more importantly, what did we buy for Bundy Bears Shed over the last week or so? Well, I've got these little diamond tool holders, and they're a great thing. They're an Aussie thing, and you put a little bit of tool steel in there, and great for brass and things like that. And you can set the centre height easy, even though it is on a quick change tool post. And actually, another thing on the quick change tool post, see, I know they're only Chinese shit, but these screws here, they're just rubbish. They're, you know, I think I was probably tightening things up a little bit too far, but the hex plays up with them. So anyway, I've got some of these bigger socket head cap screws I've put in there, but I do have some new screws coming. We've got some stainless screws I actually had access to, so I've got them coming. They're 8 by 1.25, and all this hang up here, well, we don't need all that up there, so I've got 16mm ones, which should make them about flush here, but anyway, we'll just see how that goes. But yeah, look, I'm putting just a piece of 1/4 inch tool steel in there, and there's a little jig they give you with it for sharpening them, and these cut great if you don't flog shit out of them like that. And they have a very sharp, it's a 90-degree point, but because of the, do they call them a tangential tool holder? I might be wrong with that. And but I was running out of little bits of tool steel, so on eBay we found some with 5% cobalt. So these will be great little tools, just as cutting tips to keep these tool holders going. And I find if I'm doing real heavy cuts and getting a bit of rusty shit off a piece of bar or something, I don't use these. I use the carbide tips. But I find for fine work and brass and the softer things, these just work beautifully. So anyway, so we've got a few more bits of tool steel to put in them. So I did have some Chinese stuff here, some just HSS, but I found the cobalt ones are better, so we've gone that way. And while I was buying stuff, you're there. I was running short of these TCMT, are they? With the hole in the middle for the thread. They're I've got them on a couple of boring bars and things. Then on these fellas, they're more little Chinese, or more little adapters, TCMTs, and they fit another boring bar. And I was getting, I'd had a couple of crashes a few weeks ago when I was old passion fingers. One of my subscribers called me Errol Finn. He stuffed everything, so I had a bit of an Errol week. But yeah, so we've just picked up a few inserts, and these fellas here, these are anvils, or the backing spacers. I think they're TCMT, but look, I don't know them off the top of my head well enough to rattle them off and pretend I know stuff. But anyway, I know some stuff, just not that stuff. Yeah. And another thing, when I was buying the ER40 collets, or the collet holders, which were just over here, which I showed you last stew, I had ordered the collet holders and that, which I showed last stew, but I was waiting on the collets, and I did a recheck on my pricing on these, and $18 to $26 for an ER40 collet, depending on size. 18 to 26 in Australia was the average, and I was paying $6 to $10. I don't think I went over $10 for one, and so I bought a few. So, and what I did just to help the bank balance, being good, and just so the missus would be proud of me. I bought half of them 1 month. At the end of the month, and I thought, I'll buy the other half, next month, and that'll even it out. Cash flows slow up, so I don't spend all my pocket money. And so I did that, trying to look after things, and bugging me dead if last Friday they all didn't turn up in the same thing. So they must have must have all ended up on the same sampan and to come over here, I think. And so even though we ordered them a week or so apart, they all turned up on the same day. So that was all right. We've got them now, so I have I'll just try and take you over here. If I can show you my collet drawer. That's my little collet drawer at the moment. I'll try not to knock you around too much because I don't want to hurt you. There you go, that's my collet drawer at the moment, and we've got to fit ER40 into that yet. So we'll come back down again. So we've got to fit ER40 into that drawer yet. So I think what the plan will be is just get probably a piece of ply or something, I was thinking, and just cut a heap of holes in. I think I've got 20 odd ER32s and 18, 25 5C collets, and I think there's about 23 odd of these 40 ER40 collets. So I'd like to just keep that drawer for the collets, and we'll try and make a little rack for them somehow so they're out of the weather. I find in Bundy Bears Shed here, if I just left that there and didn't put it in a cabinet sort of thing, the surface rust would get on that quite quickly. It gets very humid. We're coming up to summer and it gets very humid here, so they'll be all ruined. So a little project coming up will be to work out how to try and get them all in that drawer there. And even if, well, there's a bit of wasted space there now with with the bubble ones, the bubble packing on the ER32. So we have to do something like that, just to tidy the whole show up. Now another thing, if you recall, on my Errol week, I crashed the 2mm parting blade, and I was making big 3-inch. Well, there's these 3-inch spaces for the slashes, and they're 3-inch OD, and they have either a 3/4 or a 7/8 ID, and so you have to get in there and just part all the way. So anyway, I crashed it and buggered the tip up. So I've been waiting for a couple of these. So we found a couple more 26mm parting blades. These are 26mm, 26mm high with the ends, with the carbide inserts that go in them. And I'm going to set up I have a 30, I think 32mm is the next size. I have a 32mm with a 3mm wide one. So I think next time I do them, I'll use the heavier one. This is quite rigid though, but anyway, we'll work with that. But yeah, so most of the spending, apart from the collets, has been replacing stuff I rooted up a few weeks ago. So that's all right though. We're marking out. I'm thinking of taking on a project of making a little tractor, making it from scratch. And there's two reasons for that. One reason is as I go, I'll try and draw everything, and that'll teach myself a bit of CAD, and we'll see how that goes. And I have stuff in the shed here to do, and I just thought it'd be great for little grandkids. You know, the grandies can come around and jump on this little tractor and putt around the paddock. But I haven't committed wholly to that yet. I'm doing a bit of research, and I've got a few sheets, or a few bits of steel here that I've got blued up ready to mark out. And so there'll be a few trial and errors with that job. And we'll see how far we go with it, just for a matter of course. I've also been, recently I've just run through YouTube, and I've had a look at all the improvements people have made on their lathes and bits and pieces, and I've got a list, and I'm keeping a list on my phone now. And just as I see something, I just make I'll just try and get in here so I can read them off a little bit. And I'm just taking a bit of a note of them when I see them. So here we go. The spring-loaded tap follower. John Mills has one of them. That's a great little tool. Good little project. You know, some days I come up to the shed here and I don't feel like machining. I feel like frigging around the tractor, or just sitting patting the dog, looking out the door. You know, don't tell the missus that. And another thing I saw was hex die holders, and yeah, it's a piece of hex. Get a bit of hex bar or make a bit of hex out of square and bore the centre out to take your dies, you know, your 13, 16 inch and a half dies and all that sort of thing. So you can put a die holder in there, in the lay you can get a spanner on it. So I thought, gee, that's a good idea. So that's on the list. A 4-jaw centering indicator bar, yeah, we'll do that. I think Ray's Garage had a lathe hollow bore support with a dial gauge on the end, so up the back of your lathe, up the opposite end of the chuck, he's got a little attachment made there with 4 screws for supporting a piece of long bar that comes through, which takes a bit of whoop out of it, and that's a good idea. I had had trouble with that in the past. I've got some dice, some tailstock die holders, and it was a Chinese thing I bought. The Morse taper in the shaft's good, but the die holder's little handle, and you adapt them up, and that is shit. So I might look at that. A collet holding rack, an alloy mill pallet, a little pallet for the mill like Keith Rucker and old man Shop's done. Chris, he's done one. A lathe carriage stop. And on the carriage stop, even though I've got a digital readout, I find I do overrun that a little bit sometimes. So with a mechanical stop, I think that'd be a great thing. So we might look at that. Oh, what have we got? I'll replace tool holder set screws, so that'll happen. A tool height centering block. Joe was making one of them, and just to set the centre height on your lathe or on your tools, just put a little stand up and you know, run across with your nail. So that's a good thing. And these are great little jobs. It might take me a year to do it. Doesn't matter. Toe clamps for a little mill pallet. Oh no, a fly cutter. BS in the shop. He was making a fly cutter the other day. Oh well, quite a while back now probably. Recently he's been doing the copy of Randy Richards' dovetail cutter, but early in the piece he had a bit of 2.5 inch for a fly cutter, and he machined it up. Great little project and good bit of machining. So I've got 3 inch around, so that'll be a cracker. But anyway, a few little jobs. So as I see things on channels and that, I'll just put it on the list. And another thing I need to add on the list is the knobs on my lathe here. Being a Chinese lathe, they just put plastic shit on, and they're cracked. And on the front of the gearbox there, they just have a little piece of aluminium plate, and it was glued on. Well, they all fell off, of course, but I see other people have had a little disc. They've made a disc and put a machined line on it, and they've got them screwed in. So we'll do that, because yeah, usually now to check which gear you're in, you run it right to the end and come back 1, 2, 3. So yeah, we'll do that and try and calibrate it in. So anyway, I don't know what we're going to get up to today. I've still got to unpack the ute. And, we're having a camp on our property in 2 weeks' time. I'm in a group called Old Bastards, and we just camp and cook and drink, and yeah, we don't get up to mischief. Well, we might get up to a bit, but anyway. But anyway, once a year when the footy's on, we have a camp out in my paddock, and we camp for the weekend because it's a long weekend. First weekend in October, it's a long weekend, and they come up camping, and Sunday night the footy, the NRL grand finals on, and so we're camping just in the paddock. So we all go up to the pool room. We have a cook up in the pool room, and we've got a big 54 inch or something other TV up in there, and so we all go up there and get on the grog and watch the footy grand final, have a cook up and a feed. It's a blast. Yeah, it really is great fun. So I've got to set up the shower for the camping. I bought one of those little gas hot water systems that just hooks on the wall, so I'm spoiling them a bit. Yeah, I don't want to spoil them too much. I don't want to live in here. But anyway, we'll do the shower. So what we get up to in Bundy Bears Shed today, I'll just determine on how we go. It looks like it's going to rain, so that's why I got in early, just to have a quick chat before the rain rolls in. When the rain rolls in, we can't talk much. The sound gets washed out. So anyway, look, stay tuned. I'll see if there's anything interesting we can put on, and we'll go from there. Well, this is a shower we've set up for camping. It's a food grade pallet that I've been painting on. That's alright though. And we've made an old angle iron frame, and then we've just put a nice gas hot water system on it with all the controls inside the shower. And then the thing goes down there for the handpiece. I've just got that sitting on a couple of D-shackles hanging there, and if you need to get it down to wash your ass, to get the bloody water flowing from another direction, yeah, you can just unhook it and go from there. So yeah, that's what I've been doing this morning in Bundy Bears Shed. It gets out of back a little bit, doesn't it? But yeah, that's what I've been doing this morning on Bundy Bears Shed. Been setting up the hot water. I'm still to try it, but look, it'll be fine. There we go, there's the ute, backed into the hoist bay over there. We'll lift that up a little bit. But yeah, backed into the hoist bay with the tractor still on. I've still got a bit of room. The bandsaw's back over there, and the boat's here now, so... Anyway, I have a stand on the back of this that I can put there, and it's safe to actually unhook it with a tractor on, and we can just back in and hook it back up again, so we'll probably do that.